In this video, we're going to show you how to install the Serpentine belt kit on your Volvo XC60 located under your hood. Now with the hood open, your battery is located on the driver's side of the engine compartment under these two covers here. Now go ahead and disconnect the battery. We're going to start on the back section here. There's a Phillips head screw portion right here. We want to go ahead and unlock this. So you're going to turn this counterclockwise. I'm going to go ahead and lift up on this, and you can peel this back, giving you access to the ground terminal right here. Now I went ahead and I just plopped my screwdriver right on the top of this cover to kind of hold that over because it is attached to the rubber hood gasket here. Right here is a 10mm nut. I'm going to go ahead and use my 1/4-inch ratchet to go ahead and loosen that. You can use a wrench, you can use a gear wrench, whatever you want. Get loosen that. You can lift that up and tuck that off to the side. Go ahead and grab this front cover. There's two little tabs on the front side. You can pull up on this. Pop that off. Right here is a 10mm nut. You can use your ratchet, wrench, or gear wrench, whatever you have. You want to go ahead and loosen that. Go ahead and grab a hold of this. Wiggle that free, and you can separate that. I'm going to pull up on our hood gasket seal here. Now on the ground side here, there's a little connector. We can use our pocket screwdriver and push down on this little tab right on the back side and then pull this off, like so. Follow the wire over to the positive, and it's going to have this little clip, little horseshoe clip, just presses on. Now if you follow the wire over here, goes right to this here. We're going to use our 10mm socket. Now sometimes this isn't always necessary, but it does make for ease of pulling this battery out. I'm going to go ahead and just thread that nut back on there. We don't want to lose that. It's going to allow us to go ahead and pull this back. Now right down the side of the battery here on the terminal side, you're going to look downside, and there's going to be a clamp down here, and it's held in by a 10mm bolt. I'm going to run an extension down there, use my ratchet. You can see I have a couple extensions on there. Just use whatever you have to kind of get you up above the battery. And you can use a regular ratchet. I just chose to use a swivel head, but a regular ratchet will work just fine here. I was lucky enough to be able to pull this up. There it is right there. The bolt is held on with a little metal retainer washer, which is fantastic, but that is your clamp. Go ahead and set that aside. On the back side of the battery, you might have this vent hooked up. Go ahead and pull the hose off of that little vent on the back side of the battery. You may or may not have these handles, but what you want to do is push the battery towards the passenger side. And any way you can, grab the battery, lift it up and out. Now with our battery removed, we want to go ahead and remove our battery tray as well. Now normally there's going to be 4 8mm bolts holding it in place. There's one here, one straight back, and then one on each side. On our particular vehicle, the 2 on each side are broken, so I only have the front one and the rear one. You want to go ahead, loosen and remove all 4 of your bolts. I want to pull out our battery terminal grommets here. Next up, remove the air intake tube here. Now there's going to be 2 clamps holding this in place. There's one right here with a 7mm screw head on it. You can use a flathead or the 7mm socket. And if you follow those down to the throttle body down below, there's going to be another one down there. This one's easy to access. Just going to loosen it. You're not going to disconnect the entire clamp or unscrew the whole thing. Let's go ahead and get the lower one. Now we need a long extension and our 8mm socket. Let's go ahead and loosen this. We're going to remove the 4 T25 Torx spit screws holding our air filter lid box in place. Pop that off, set that aside. And let's go ahead and pull out the air intake tube. Basically just gonna wiggle this around and pop it off of the throttle body down below. Pull that up and out. Let's go ahead and remove our air filter base here. There's just rubber grommets holding it in. This right here is the headlamp bracket itself to lock it in. So you're just going to grab this and gently lift upward. I'm going to go ahead and remove our headlight bracket. Grab that air filter base, pull that up and out. Now our base battery box here has the hood release cable that runs through, and there's a rubber grommet over here. I'm going to use my pocket screwdriver. I'm going to gently pry open this tab right here. And we can pull our hood release cable out. And pull this cable out here. Now our battery box is in poor condition. It's broken on the bottom here and has some other cracks around it. But we're going to do the best we can to go ahead and pull this up and out. Now On the back of our AC compressor, we have this bracket right here. It's also securing our battery cable. I want to go ahead and loosen and remove the two 10mm bolts. There's one here, and there's one right on the other side. Now right here is our belt tensioner, and we're going to use our 19mm open-end wrench and put it right here on our tensioner, and we're going to push down on it. Now right behind it, right here is a hole, and that accepts a 3mm Allen key or metal pin. We're going to try and use an Allen wrench here to fit inside there. So when we push down on this, it's going to come down, and then we can put a pin in there to lock it in place. And this should release some tension off of our belt. There it is. Let's see, we have some slack here. So we can pull this off of our idler pulley here. Our next step, go ahead and remove the AC. This is going to be three 10mm bolts, one here, here, and here. Let's go ahead and get to that. Just so that you know, we have two long bolts and one short bolt. The two long bolts go here and here. The short bolt, when you look at it, you should be able to identify that the short bolt goes on the air filter or air box side. Go ahead and wiggle that belt off there. And we want to go ahead, I'm going to use my pry bar to go ahead and pop that free because we have a lot of aluminum corrosion going on there. There it is. So our AC lines come over to this bracket right here, and there's a Torx bit screw holding this clamp together. I'm going to get it loosened and remove that. Now we're using a T25 Torx bit here. Pop that off there, and then we want to go ahead and move this here. So we're just going to grab that AC compressor, just pull it out of the way a little bit. Now before we go ahead and remove our tensioner and our idler pulley and remove our belt, now's a good time to go ahead and write down or draw the routing of your belt so you know where it's going. It's going to run around our water pump, underneath our idler, over our tensioner. It's going to go down underneath our alternator and then around our AC unit here, down and around. Now on the inside of this bracket right here for our AC unit is going to be a 10mm bolt holding our tensioner on the inside. So we're going to use our shallow 10mm socket and our ratchet. And we want to go ahead, loosen and remove this bolt. You can probably use a gear wrench if you want as well in there. Get some clearance in there. Just spin that bolt out. And then I'm going to go ahead and work our tensioner out. And when you pull this out, there's a little tab right here that actually lines up on the bracket itself. So you know that that's lined up when it's in place. Let's go ahead and set that aside. Now right here is our idler pulley, and it's held in place by a T40 Torx bit. Let's go ahead and loosen and remove this one here. Go. Now let's go ahead and remove our belt, and we're going to snake this around the water pump pulley. And as you feed the belt through, you can rotate the pulley to feed that through. Unwrap it. Pull this out around here, and then you have to do the same thing for the alternator pulley itself. Kind of snake the belt out around the front side of that between the bracket and the pulley. Let's go ahead and feed our belt down and around. Snake this down around the alternator. Just got to kind of turn that belt sideways. Manipulate that around the AC compressor. All right. Let's go ahead and get our idler pulley installed. Torque down our idler here to 9.7 foot-pounds. We're going to feed our tensioner down into place. We want to make sure that we have our belt up and over this, so we're just going to pop that over our water pump. Feed this in. Get our bolt started on the back side. and thread this in as far as I can by hand. Or hands. All right, let's go ahead and torque that down to 17 foot-pounds. There it is. All right, let's go ahead and grab our AC compressor. Swing this over, bring that belt up onto it. I do want to make sure that this is on the alternator. Our AC compressor is not on all the way. There it is. Should be kind of anchored. I'm going to get that belt. There we go. Now our belt is on everything. Let's go ahead and get the AC bolts in. Short bolt on the right, long bolts on the left. You definitely want to get these started before you put any sort of power tools on them. All right, let's go ahead and torque these down to 17 foot-pounds. Now we can go ahead and pull the pin on our tensioner here. Go ahead and pull the pin on our tensioner. I'm just going to put our wrench on here. And then we can release. There it is. Let's install our clamp here for the AC lines. Let's go ahead and gently snug that down. Once it bottoms out, just give it probably about a quarter turn and you're good. Let's go ahead and feed our battery box down into place. Don't forget to guide your hood release cable up and over and through the front of the case. And when feeding in the battery base here, there is a module on the right-hand side, on the inside of the strut tower itself. So you need to feed the tray in up at an angle like this here, and then down and in. You want to make sure that you get your grommet lined up here on the inside of the box for the hood. Good, push that latch up and over, lock that box back together. Install a hood release cable right on the little brackets on the back side here. Let's install our bolts. You simply want to go ahead and snug down all 4 of your bolts here, holding the battery tray in place. Once these bolts bottom out, you simply just want to snug them gently. There it is. Install the grommet here for the battery. There it is. All right, let's go ahead and drop our bracket into place. And these bolts here, once you get them started, in general, if they're spinning easy, just go ahead and run them all the way down by hand, or run them as far as you can. Let's go ahead and gently snug those down. So it's bottomed out just a tiny bit more. Bottomed out, tiny bit more. That's it. Go ahead and put in your air filter base. Now as this goes in, there's a rubber grommet on the driver's side back corner here that needs to fit into a little bracket. Grab your air filter and drop that down and in. Install the headlamp mounting bracket. Go ahead and feed your air intake tube down in a position here. I want to get that onto our throttle body down below. Make sure you put your clamp on here. Let's go ahead and position our air filter lid in place here. right, with that in position, let's go ahead and secure the screws on our lid box here. Now we're just going to continue to secure the two back ones here. All right, with that secured, let's go ahead and get our intake hose clamp secured. And then just put your clip on there. Let's go ahead and secure the lower clamp. Go ahead and grab that battery and lower it down into position. Now when you load this down, you want to make sure that you push it over to the passenger side first. Then once it's fully seated, bring it towards the driver's side. The reason why we do that is that the bottom of our battery has little lips on the bottom side, or edges, one on the driver's side and one on the passenger side, or left and right of the battery, and that actually goes underneath a locking tab over there. Next thing we want to do is go ahead and lower our bracket down into position. Now when lowering this down into position, you want to make sure that this edge here captures the front corner of the battery. It kind of secures it in place. You can sometimes put your socket on the end and manipulate that over into position. Go ahead and start that bolt with your extensions. Once you get that started, you can go ahead and snug that down. And gently snug it. It doesn't have to be super tight. You do want to make sure it's good and snug. Now that we have the battery secured, let's go ahead and install our wiring harness again. The rubber grommets popped out of our box. Not a big issue. We're just going to go ahead and start to line things up again here. I'm going to go ahead and grab our 10mm socket. I'm going to snug down this harness right here. Once that bottoms out, just give it a little bit more. You want it to be snug, but you don't want to over tighten. Go ahead and snug down that positive terminal as well. Once that bottoms out, give it about a quarter turn. Go ahead and grab that terminal, give it a good wiggle. You want to make sure that this does not spin. Don't forget to go ahead and line up this harness here into this case. Just has a rubber gasket or grommet. Push that in, it kind of seals it up nice. Go ahead and grab that ground terminal here. Go ahead and plug in your harness. You're going to feel it in here click into place. And then go ahead and drop that right down on top of that terminal. Make sure it's seated all the way down. Snug this down. I don't like to use power tools on batteries because these can strip or break. So once it bottoms out, not full quarter, but once again, make sure it's good and snug. Grab that terminal, give it a wiggle. It's nice and tight. Don't forget to hook up your vent tube on the back side. go ahead and grab your hood gasket and line this up and push it on. Make sure you feel and hear that clip into place. Push this over, line things up. Now on this side here, there's going to be two little tabs that go underneath the strut cover here. So you want to go ahead and interlock that into there first. Push it down and in. Get that gasket pressed in all the way over. Take your front cover. You have your mounting clips right here. They engage on the front side of the box here, but you have two on the back that need to go underneath. Slide that in, line this up, snap it on. You're going to hear it click and lock into place. Last thing you want to do is go ahead and take your Phillips head screwdriver. You want to go into the screw on the top, and you're going to turn that clockwise until you feel that click in, and you're secured. Grab the engine cover. Line up the oil fill cap with the center here, and this almost lines up perfect. Just push down, and you're all set.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.